Everyone's having a great time. We decide to start a conga line. And, in my mind, I'm like, let's just do the best and biggest conga line ever. And so we start this conga line and we're just, going through the tables. And this lady stands up and she grabs onto me and she holds my hand. And she said, I just told my friends at the table that I don't dance. And she goes, but I want to do this. This looks like so much fun, but will you hold my hand? Because she was a little unsteady. And I'm like, absolutely, let's do this. And so we congaed all through the YMCA, and we were, slower than everyone, which was fine. But you know what? She was up and she was doing it. Welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Aging in Style. Today, we are going to cover a topic that we have talked about in the past, and it's about choosing your mindset. I'm a huge believer in we can make or break a day or any situation by what mindset we choose to be in. If we choose a positive, always looking for the best in life mindset, versus a negative and being bitter and finding something bad to say about everything, that is going to be key in how well your life is lived. And of course, we're speaking to older people, but we're also speaking to people of all ages, because I think it's a lesson better learned early, because I feel like you live your best life if you are always choosing to be positive. Because as we all know, life is hard. Life is going to throw some things at you that you're not expecting. And, if you have a positive mindset, you will rise to the occasion, learn what lesson needs to be learned from that situation or crisis or whatever it may be, and grow as a person from it. So there's several reasons why I want to talk about this, but I recently saw in action, like how people, older adults, they're the ones who choose to be positive and try new things, no matter what their age is or what their abilities are, versus those who want to not do that and are negative and aren't open to new adventures or whatever. So we did, in my community where I live, we have a group of senior care people, healthcare professionals. And we just love serving our senior community and doing fun things for them. And if I'm being completely honest, we just love it ourselves too. We just have a blast. So we had decided to bring back a senior prom that we had done with another group for many years. And then when COVID happened, we had to cancel doing the prom, obviously. So we just decided we're going to bring it back because it's time. So with the senior prom, we have it at the YMCA, and it's a big deal. We choose a theme, and we worked really hard on this. And we made it a love boat theme. And when you walked in, it looked like you were walking onto a cruise and you were in the ocean. And it just came out so cute. I have great pictures I can always share too, but it came out adorable. And so let me just say this. I hope when I am in my 80s, there is a group still doing this, offering proms or whatever, because I am going to be there. And what we did was to make it look like you're like actually going on a cruise. We had someone dressed up as the captain, and he was greeting people, and we did pictures and music and dancing and food and everything. It only cost $10. Those were, it wasn't like, a huge expense for our seniors, but just enough to offset some costs. And then it was also a fundraiser for the YMCA. Oh, we got sponsors and everything too. Anyhow, we were all tasked with going out and spreading the news about the prom and selling tickets. And I went to a local senior center and was selling tickets. And I'm thinking, this is going to be a slam dunk. Everyone's going to want to go to this, right? How fun. And it's $10. Where can you even get a good meal for $10? And we had a good meal for them. So I was shocked. Okay, let me just say this. I sold one ticket, one ticket. And here's the tragic news. She called back the next day and wanted a refund. Oh my gosh. So the excuse that I got, or what the majority of people told me, they would just come up and they were like, oh, well, yeah, I don't dance. I'm not going to that. Kind of missing the big picture there is that you don't have to dance. You can just go and enjoy all the other activities. But it was just, I can't, or I don't, or, just not for me, not understanding what we're offering here. And then the saddest one to me was a lady came up to me, and I found out later she had said the same story to a group who had been there the week before trying to sell tickets. And she said, I hated my prom. I mean, this lady was probably in her mid 80s, and she is still stuck in this, where her prom, like, it really triggered her. And she's just like, I hated my prom. It was the most awful day of my life. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. It made me feel sad for her that you're stuck in this. So fast forward, we did sell not as many tickets as we thought we would, but we still had like over 120 people come to the event, which was great. Our goal was 200. And honestly, I think next year we will hit that or exceed that because we're going to do it annually now. But the beautiful thing was all of these people came. And I mean, some people are in wheelchairs, some people have walkers, some have canes, some are walking, and still everyone's at a different stage because obviously as we age, we do have things that happen in our bodies. So, but the people, to me, the ones who get past that and still go out, even if they have some limitations, and they're still going to go out and enjoy themselves, that is a positive mindset to me. Because they're not sitting home going, oh, I don't want to go where people are dancing. I can't walk or whatever. So the most beautiful thing of it to me was that we had kids who were in middle school who came to help. They were National Honor Society, I believe. And they were out there dancing with the seniors. And at one point I look up and there's a adorable lady who leads line dancing at the senior center. She had all the kids. They're all watching her, learning from her. She's teaching them all to line dance. Absolutely beautiful to see that. Everyone's having a great time. We decide to start a conga line. And, in my mind, I'm like, let's just do the best and biggest conga line ever. And so we start this conga line and we're just, going through the tables. And this lady stands up and she grabs onto me and she holds my hand. And she said, I just told my friends at the table that I don't dance. And she goes, but I want to do this. This looks like so much fun, but will you hold my hand? Because she was a little unsteady. And I'm like, absolutely, let's do this. And so we congaed all through the YMCA, and we were, slower than everyone, which was fine. But you know what? She was up and she was doing it. So just that experience reminds me so much the difference. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, how do you want to go into your older years? Do you want to be the one who says, and maybe you do, but, do you want to be the one who says, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And, just for whatever reason, you just want to sit home all the time. I mean, that's not positive aging in my experience. And so, which leads me into, how do we choose a positive mindset in any situation? And you know what? It's hard. And I will be the first one to say, if you follow my podcast, you know that I'm in a very difficult season in my life where my husband had a stroke on Christmas Day. And then 2 days later had 3 more strokes. So it's been a really, tough road. And there have been, days where for me personally, it is hard to choose a positive mindset, but every morning I do get up and try to always be positive. Luckily, I mean, I think it is kind of how I am hardwired, that I am normally positive and happy. But saying that, last week was a week of just, an issue with everything. And which, it was hard. Like I had to kind of like stop, take a deep breath, and try to see a positive in the situation. So that's what I want to talk about. How do you change a mindset? Or if you're already positive, how do you, in those trying times, keep a positive mindset? So number 1, and I have 7 steps that I personally use. Start the day with a positive thought. And that doesn't have to take a lot of your time. I mean, you just wake up in the morning, open your eyes. And this morning, my positive thought was, I'm so happy that my sweet daughter has met a boy she really likes. And, we always want happiness for our children, right? And that just made my heart happy that she really likes this boy she's dating. But it could be whatever thought comes to your mind. Is it, thank God, I woke up and I'm breathing, or thank God it's a sunny day, beautiful day out, or I'm in Texas, so a rainy day is very welcome also because, my grass is looking kind of brown. So yay, we have some rain. So a positive thought. And like I said, it doesn't need to take a lot of time, but I feel like you can retrain your brain if you aren't completely wired that way to have a positive thought. And if that's harder for you, I mean, maybe, there's all kinds of positive affirmations you can find a book for or look online and just have a positive affirmation that you maybe print out or write down and keep next to you by your bed and just, read that positive affirmation. Or even journaling works for some people. So there's all different ways to help train. And I'm just saying this, I don't know if this is the real way to do it, but to me, it seems like you're training yourself, training your brain to be positive. Number 2, focus on the good things, however small that may be. So it's good to focus on those positive and good things and just know sometimes we get into those modes where we're just like, everything is awful in the world. There's terrible people out there because, we're hearing these, if we watch the news, there's school shootings, there's the awful things that happen, which is why I personally try not to watch the news. We can get caught up in that this is just everything's terrible, but there are good things and there are really good people out there still that are helping. So find the good in a tough situation, no matter how small that may be. Number 3, find the humor in bad situations. Sometimes harder to do, but I have found myself I don't know, at times, one of my friends, I was telling her something about my husband and it wasn't good. It wasn't good stuff. And for some reason, I just started laughing. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. This is awful. And she was laughing too. And she's like, sometimes it's just how we express ourselves. Sometimes we just have to let the emotion out. And, you've heard that saying, sometimes it's better to laugh than cry. And at times that's where the position I've been in. So, but one thing that I really found humor in is my husband is a chocoholic. I mean, he loves chocolate. I had gone to a community, an assisted living community, and they gave me a little bag and it had some candy in it. And so we were talking and I said, I have a surprise for you. And I pulled out the little piece of chocolate and his eyes got huge and he looked like he was 5 years old. And we were just both laughing over how excited he got over this little piece of chocolate. And he ate that piece of chocolate and just savored every moment of it. I took pictures of him because he was just cracking me up and he was just, yum, yum. But anyhow, so it's obviously that is a bad situation. My husband's in rehab. He's, working very hard in this rehab, which again, here's something I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that he was accepted into this rehab. I'm thankful that we switched to Blue Cross Blue Shield on January 1st and they are covering, which is unbelievably expensive. They're covering it for him to get this incredible rehab that he needs. But anyhow, that kind of takes me back to this is not a great situation to be in, but we are still able to laugh. And it was just that silly little moment of a piece of chocolate was very bonding for he and I and just gave us both something to laugh about. Number 4, turn your failures into lessons. So you tried something new. And let me go back to my fence issue, how the wind had blown it open and broke the latch on it. And this is my whole thing is I'm not good at asking for help. So I called my neighbor, asked her for if she had rope, because I'm thinking I'm just going to tie it closed, right? And that way the dogs can't get out. And she's like, I don't have rope or twine or anything, but I have ribbon. So she comes over with all of this ribbon, all different colors. And we're outside, got the flashlight on. And we pick an orange ribbon and she expertly ties it through and it secures the latch, right? And puts a little bow on it. And we are laughing so hard because I don't know. I have actually learned how to fix some things. I'm not going to lie. I've learned to use a screwdriver, actually put a vacuum cleaner together. So, during this time where I'm having to be, learn to do things my husband did, we did fix the fence. And the failure of it was that obviously this was not, a fix. This was a very temporary fix, but I left it like that for 3 months because I had other things on my mind. Well, that's when my neighbor came in and just fixed my fence for me. It was an easy thing for him to do. So the lesson in that, so my failure is that I really didn't fix I semi-fixed it. But the lesson for me was that I needed to reach out for help and have someone come and do it properly. So I feel like that is the lesson for me in that. So just, try different things. If you fail at them, you learned a lesson. I also, during this, like in the first week of all this happening with my husband, I got a flat tire, which I had to deal with. And these are all things that are new to me because, I've been married for 33 years and my husband took care of these things. So I dealt with a flat tire. I dealt with the little floater thing in the toilet wasn't working. So I Googled how to fix it, made 2 trips to Ace Hardware asking directions and what to buy. And I fixed it. So that wasn't a failure. I did learn how to fix a toilet. But, there are certain things I feel like I'm glad that I tried because I feel like when you try new things, you grow as a person. And if you do fail at it, there's a lesson in it. And in this situation with the fence, the lesson was I did need to ask for help, and I'm glad I did. And my neighbor was happy to help me. Number 5, transform negative self-talk into positive self-talk. And this is something I tell my kids all of the time. Since they were young, don't ever say anything bad about yourself. Don't ever say, I can't do this or I'm dumb or whatever. I don't stand for that kind of negative self-talk. As someone who's an older person, I can't dance or I can't do this. I mean, like the lady who did the conga with me, she told her friends at her table, I can't dance. And she got up and danced with me holding my hand. So I think that's a huge one, to always transform that negative self-talk into positive. The next one, number 6, is focus on the present. It's really important. And we did a show on anxiety last week, and they talk about anxiety is when you really don't stay in the present moment, where you're like 10 steps ahead, or, you need to stay in the present. And that is the same for mindset. We really need to practice on staying in that moment and not getting too far ahead, because when you get too far ahead on things, that's where you get stressed out, or, you may go into a negative mindset. And this is for me because I am a planner and I want everything figured out. And I've had to know that in this time is I thought, okay, Mark had a stroke. We're going to go to rehab. He's going to be much better. He's going to be home in 2 weeks. Well, that was not the case, as he's still in rehab 4 months later. I've had to really, because I can become very overwhelmed because I have a plan and my plan's not going as it should be, to just kind of step back, sit down and meditate into, I'm in this moment right now. There's nothing I can do. I can't control this. I'm not in control of this. I have to stay in that moment. And number 7 for choosing a positive mindset, and this is probably one of the most important ones, is surround yourself with positive friends, mentors, coworkers, neighbors, family. Find those people who are also positive. I think negative creates more negative. So if you are I don't like to be around people who have very negative energy and who are always complaining or saying they can't do this or just complaining in general. So I choose really the people in my life who, are my circle. They're people who are positive and that are trying new things, who are growing as people. And, I'm 59, so a lot of my friends are my age or even older. And I also have friends who are younger. So, but the common thread is that they are people who choose to have a positive mindset and are encouraging. So those are my 7 steps for staying positive. I hope that you have, some takeaways from this. And I hope that no matter what your age, that you implement some of these into your life, because I do feel like life is tough, and we sometimes make it tougher on ourselves when we choose to see things through, a negative light. So go out and be positive. I say that to my daughter all the time and it annoys her because I'm like, be positive. But it's an important lesson. And, as I said earlier, it was so enlightening to me to see the seniors who really were like so negative about the whole prom experience, and not seeing how much fun it could be. They were just caught up in the negative aspect. Well, I can't dance, or I had a bad prom, or, that doesn't sound fun to me, or, just kind of like, it felt almost like a self-defense mechanism sort of thing. So, and then to be there, to actually be at the prom and see these wonderful people having such a fantastic time, even if they couldn't walk. And then the lady who danced with me, I just think that's huge. And that is what I wanted to share with y'all today. And just kind of my life observations and how important it is to work on your mindset. So that's what I have for you. I hope you will share the podcast with your friends and family. And be sure to go to our website, which is LoriWilliams-seniorservices.com. We post a lot of good content there. And follow us on social media, and be sure to like our podcast, like and follow it, so you will always get our new episodes, which come out every Friday. All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.